Hello and welcome to geez, here I go again. To Onyx Path Publishing's Virtual Gaming Con. Too many virtual cons in a short amount of time. But hey, that's amazing because virtual cons are fun. So yes, welcome to our V5 game. This is going to be a Dark Ages game. And I am your storyteller, Rick Wheeler, Def Malkavian all over the place. And with me today are my very special guests. I'll have them introduce themselves, starting with Crystal Mazur.
Hi, I'm Crystal Mazur. I am a freelance writer for Onyx Path Publishing. I will be playing Diana Lejuste.
Very good. And also with us today is Mike Hollywood Tomasek.
Hey, hi, Mike Tomasek. I also go by the name Hollywood. I will be playing Father. What is it? What did I name my father?
Antonio Bastille.
Yeah, Antonio Bastille or Basil. Antonio Basil. So yes, that's what I'll be playing today. All right, sweet.
Also, we have John Burke.
No, we don't. Yes, we do. I'm John Burke. I am also a freelance writer and now developer for Onyx Path. And I'll today be playing the very crusty and horrible looking Antonio Il Susuro Garcia Franca.
Very good. Last but not least, we have one of our Gehenna Gaming team members, Mr. Nick Francia.
Hi everyone, Nick Francia here. I am the stream producer for Gehenna Gaming. I'm also a designer over at Rogue Robot Studios. And today I will be playing Alessandro Di Romano, a curious doctor.
Indeed. So, we're going to be starting off this Dark Ages campaign in the year 1005 in Genoa, Italy, where many different things are happening in these nights. This domain was just formed as a viable place for kindred. They had recently teamed with, the mortals did, Venice, Pisa, and several of the other now emerging nation states to drive off the Saracens, who have been attacking them for a number of years. And these city-states have now basically become merchant republics unto themselves, each their own power. They are governed by merchant families, and they've set up something to akin to like what we would see a republic today, with various levels. With that, the population has grown. Each of these city-states now has enough mortal population to support kindred life. And with many of their neighbors around them already well established, nature abhors a vacuum. And De La Sombra has moved in, declared himself prince. Even though there's no Camarilla back then, you still had what was called the War of Princes in the Dark Ages. And he has decided to put a call out to any kindred who are interested in working with him to grow this domain, with an emphasis that the people are extremely important. Now we have them, we have to keep them. We have to make sure that they're safe. And in this period of time, all of the food and resources that people need, they get only about half from the actual land. The rest comes from the sea and from trade, which is why all these merchant city-states, although they just banded together to drive off an enemy threat, are now also each other's competition. And hey, vampire's about competition, isn't it? So, as kindred in the area, you've each received a summons from Prince Enrico to meet at the Podesta at night, which is kind of like an amphitheater. Picture it's stone with columns, circular seating, like a stadium in the middle. And a number of nightly ghoul guards are outside to make sure no one enters without a parchment with his seal on it. And each of you arrive around the same time. You would have heard that there are actually more than just the kindred in the area who are here to announce themselves, to meet each other, to form alliances and try to work together as one unified domain. There are a number of different foreign powers all coming here to try and weasel their way into alliances, to point the finger at the other guy. You ally yourself with one, you risk angering another, maybe two others. It's a very careful web that each of you has to walk, and try not to shake too many strings. The attendees tonight, you would have heard the whispers on the wind, as a guest from Byzantium, the Empire of Constantinople, a representative from Iberia, where the Lasombra have been driving off the Ashira and having kind of like a civil war in their own country, trying to get the Ashira out and keep Iberia and the European continent safe. You have the Holy Roman Empire, which is primarily controlled by the Ventru, who always had Kingdom of Italy as one of their members, but now Italy is starting to divide. You have half of them that are supporting the Papal States, the other half supporting the Holy Roman Emperor, controlled by the Ventru. And it's a tale as old as time. You have the Lasombra and the Ventru, once again, butting heads on the opposite side of the coin. You have a representative from Venice, one of the other merchant states that just had your back, who now sees you as a rival and is honestly none too happy that this new Cainite society has popped up on the other side of the coast of Italy. And last but not least, your neighbor to the east, France, eventually will become completely dominated by the courts of love, run by the Toreador. Currently, in kindred affairs, they're also divided down the middle between the Grand Courts, which some Toreador have allied with the Ventru, and a completely Toreador-controlled domain. And with that back history, those are some of the political waters that are swirling around you as you enter into the long night. And who would like to arrive first on the scene to make their introduction? Not Father Basile. We'll start with Alessandro Romano.
Alessandro walks slowly, clad in whatever your medical garb would be back then. Gloves. I don't know if I think we're at the age where probably doctors are still wearing plague masks, or maybe before that. He looks solemn, waiting for the others. He's not too happy about the state of affairs lately. And really, he's just trying to play out for everyone's survival here.
And as you walk into the courtyard, there are a number of other kindred. You do see the ghouls keeping mortals and those who are not welcome at bay. There's about 5 different groups off to themselves, other than the kindred who actually live here and belong here. And you can tell from the way they dress, the way they speak, they are all those dignitaries from different places, kind of waiting to pull in whoever they can. But as you walk into the courtyard, the new Prince Enrico, who matches the description given to you, sees you and waves you over. At that time, you're likely joined by another member of the player staff here who are going to be joining this domain. Who's the next victim?
I'm going to rush right in now. The long sort of what might initially appear to be almost like a monk's habit but is actually a very long, almost down to his feet, coat, which is so dirty that it appears to be a monk's habit. It almost looks rough spun, whereas as he moves forward with a sort of shambling, almost zombie-esque sort of gait, it appears that dust literally falls from him, dirt, filth dropping from every part of him. A hood which is sewn into the inside of the collar of his coat is pulled up over far enough over his face that the kind of shadows of the kind of firelight, whatever it is that we have here, just cast strange sort of cascades of light over him. Any glimpse you do catch of him as a Nosferatu is enough to make you want to turn away. The smell that accompanies him is certainly not much better. You can see, though, the telltale marks that this is very possibly the rather well-known Nosferatu of the city, a man who appears to appear anywhere he wants and know just about everything. This person known as Il Susurro, or the Whisper. And the reason why the slits you see in his throat, hallmark of his embrace, causing him, whenever he breathes in, to speak, to wheeze almost like an accordion or some sort of pipe organ. And he lumbers forward, possibly looking at people, possibly not. His eyes again shrouded in the darkness of his hood. But he freezes for a moment when he sees Alessandro, and almost like a spider, increasing his pace with the legs suddenly and quickly with a dexterity you didn't think that could belong to him up until that point. He just almost like Matrix style appears in front of you, and you hear this horrible death rattle of an in-breath as he prepares to talk to you. Alessandro.
You look well today.
Yes, as always. You look better, of course.
Yes. Unfortunately for me, the sickness, as they say, has not been waiting on my own life, as it were.
Mine is a sickness of the blood, of course. So, who are these pretty pictures? He sort of casts his hand, his claw-like fingers around the people, and as he's doing that, he notices the prince beckoning you. Ah, but we know who that is, don't we?
Yes, the Prince Enrico. I was afraid that this might happen.
Well, you had better not keep him waiting, or you might disappear far more easily than even I can manage.
Shall we not wait for others?
Antonio sort of looks around behind himself to see if anyone's approaching.
Muted.
I'll make my grand entrance now. Father Bazile will, of course, with his entourage and the finest silks of the cassock of his time, walk in laughing and jovial, with his men, tell his men to casually wait outside and make sure that the guards are well taken care of, and not to get into too much trouble. I'll pass my scroll over to the ghouls.
Thank you, Father.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Bless you, my son. and I'll just walk in like a piece of shit. Just like trying to get as many people to look at me as possible.
They do. You're very hard to not notice. You've got an impressive entourage with you of people many respect. A crusader, even. Bodyguard. You've got a number of other priests with you who are well known in the area, well favored by the populace.
Good.
So even if they don't see you during the day, they know that You're an up-and-coming Monsignor. You're someone who matters.
And that's really important. People should know how fucking awesome I am. Thank you.
To your left, you see a diplomat who has also just arrived.
Oh, madam.
Father. So you see a woman who's dressed in the latest of French fashion and long, extravagant silk gown, corseted, all of that fun stuff. She has a bodyguard with her, a lady in waiting, and several other servants that go with her. And she offers her hand.
Oh, yes, please. Let me escort you to the prince, madam.
It is appreciated, Father. How is your ministry going?
Oh, the word of the Lord is vast and beautiful. We are just finding all the sinners in this town and really bringing them into the fold.
It's wonderful to see you bringing the light of God to those in darkness.
Oh, well, you know, people like me just love walking into that type of darkness after all. But please, I see that we have some peers here that are also waiting to meet the prince.
And with you, Diana, you do have a bodyguard yourself.
Yep.
What is this bodyguard's name?
Bodyguard's name is Romeo.
Perfect. Would you like to describe him, or should I?
You can describe him. That's totally fine.
Romeo is fairly young. He looks to be around 22. Clean shaven, longer, mid to length blonde hair. He looks like he is dressed as a diplomat for the evening, but he is a very skilled fighter who was gifted to you by your Toreador friends from the Courts of Love. And he has been your servant for a number of years now. He's always done a pretty good job keeping you safe so far, but he's definitely eyeing the courtyard on guard as this is new territory and making sure that you are safe. Likewise, Father has a very impressive guardian himself, a former crusader, in fact, who doesn't say much but follows you very carefully. And as you see Alessandro and Susuro, the Whisperer, do you approach and gather?
Yes, it seems right to talk to these two, of course, the person of gathering information, and I don't know so much about this witch, but I mean, that's fine.
When the father enters, Alessandro will look at the Whisperer and just with a offhand comment, and here I thought you were the only thing making my skin crawl that was going to enter here. No fault to yourself, I mean.
But one of us is a demon on the outside, yes.
I would partake that he's more of a demon on the inside than any one of us.
Antonio doesn't qualify that remark, just laughs. But as the man of the cloth approaches, he sort of raises his strangely wrinkled and taloned alabaster right hand, and his flakes of pustulous skin fall from it. He almost blesses him in a strange fashion.
Oh,
Ad nomine Patris et Filii
oh,
et Spiritus
thank you. Oh, thank you. And blessings upon you and yourself as well. How are you doing this evening, Sir Susurio?
It is so late. I should be in bed right now.
You always do make me laugh, so. Please, oh, I'm so sorry we have a lady in our midst.
The horrifically ill-formed, made out of knees thing in front of you affects a bow which has audible creaks and pops and cracks as he does it. Almost his face almost able to seemingly touch the floor before he rises again, and his hood always remaining just that angle where you only ever see the kind of bottom of his face, and a crooked, gangrenous smile flashes out at you from it. And he licks his teeth and he twitches his face. You think he might have winked at you.
So Diana will just very politely just move her skirts back just enough to let him kneel without touching them, and then she'll just bow her head. It is wonderful to see you this evening, I think.
It is always wonderful when you can see me, yes.
Oh, and I'm so sorry. Romano, it is wonderful to see you this evening as well.
Thank you. It's always nice to see you as well. And I must say that Susuro is, as always, a sight for sore eyes.
Or a sight to make the eyes sore.
Shall we all just mosey on over? After all, I believe we are in a new domain.
That's
Yes.
what they call it now.
That would be appropriate.
Oh, and Doctor. Are you doing well this evening?
As well as one could be in the circumstances that have plagued the coming months up into here.
Oh, I'm so glad that your heresies and other such nonsense are doing well.
Sorry, Father. I just believe in what I could touch and feel.
Oh, must be nice to believe in such parlance and matters.
when he says the words touch and feel, Antonio pats you sort of on the back. Not hard, just a sort of pat on the back, and you can definitely touch and feel it. As he removes his hand, there's like this strange, sickly whitish handprint left on whatever garment you're wearing, as bits of him seem to have come off. And he just slides with his strange stalking gait forward towards the prince, not waiting for any more introductions.
So, maybe you could tell me more of these so-called sciences as we walk up to the prince. Your magics are just so entertaining, after all.
I could lecture about the blood for hours, I'm afraid. Maybe later after a drink, we can discuss more, Father.
Oh, well, sounds wonderful.
I'm afraid that you speaking for hours on the blood is what we are all afraid of. Romero perks up. And you were actually approached by Prince Enrico, who is a fairly tall, longer, black hair, simple goatee. He's wearing kind of like a dark robe. He doesn't look like a member of the clergy. It's more of a Roman kind of thing, but probably a throwback to whenever he was embraced. Thank you for joining me tonight. I must warn you that we are few in number in this domain currently. Tonight is a celebration of us coming together, but at that same time, the odds are not in our favor as far as our neighbors, who have so graciously joined us tonight to see where our alliances lay. They do not yet know our opinions, and we have some work to do. They want to press us for some answers faster than we could possibly give them. I would talk to them each individually and find what you can discern from their own wantings from us. We have Idris from Constantinople. I believe he is a Baruha. From what I know, he is wanting to provide trade partnership with us in the Black Sea, as we are currently the strongest naval power in the Mediterranean. We also have Marcel, a La Sombra like myself, from Iberia. He wants us to, I believe, take part in some civil war, to drive the Ashira back into the south. But that is not something, even though he is my clanmate, I think that would be very wise for us to do. We need to solidify where we are here. However, I trust and I honor you in helping me make these decisions as my counsel. Your input is incredibly valuable in this matter. There's also the matter of the Holy Roman Empire, probably the largest threat to us in the north, or by the Ventru, as many of the other new city-states here are aligning with the Pope. I think they are practically just waiting for us to show a sympathy one way or the other. And they have their own connections to the other guests here as well, that we have to be very careful not to agitate. We have our recent friends from Venice, a man who is a Cappadocian named Luigi, who I do not think we should ally with at all. I think they are trying and just waiting for us to fuck it up. The goddamn Venetians. Other than that, there is friends from Lady Diana's home. From the Courts of Love, we have St. Regis, the Toreador from Marseille, our closest, largest neighbor to the east, who's also trying to get the Holy Roman Empire Ventru off the back. Speaking of which, I do not believe I told you the Ventru's name who was joining us. His name is Dominic. He is somewhat of a warlord, dealing with his fight with the Tomasek, I mean, it's however you call them. Do you have any other questions for me, my friends? I have been talking too much.
And the ghouls?
The ghouls guarding this place are ours. Although each of these representatives have brought their own children and some of their own. I imagine some of them are just hovering, waiting to hear what some of the other groups are saying, to get intel. Drawing each of these people away from their social circles and talking to them would probably be for the best. Each of you has a certain way with words. The Father and Diana more than others, but even Susuro, the Whisperer, is quite adept at gathering information from a simple look.
My prince, I do have to ask some questions. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking to actually ally with?
I would say Constantinople. I think the trade agreement in the Black Sea would be the best for us. They are looking to establish us to have a piece of land within Constantinople for our own trade. They are willing to have us access to the Black Sea. They want to use us as their primary method of transporting of goods. I think it would make us the stronger merchant empire. But at the same time, piss off many others.
The Poet Kings are very interesting thing look for us, but I mean, I do have to say though that they are, after all, a low clan sometimes, after all. So there are certain images that we have to project that we might modify?
Of course, and your recommendations are always taken into consideration.
But I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can talk to them at the very least.
This is what we are here for, after all. You have been so quiet today, Alessandro. Is the current state of medical affairs weighing on your soul?
No. I am, just, as you say, contemplating about all this. We do not wish to ally ourselves with Dominic and the Holy Roman Empire. But that would also...
Heretics. Heretics, a lot of them.
It would be wise then to gather partners. Perhaps Sir St. Regis. If he is also one in the same views as us and wants to remove the Roman Empire's influence from us, or these lands, then perhaps making an alliance with him, as well as this Bruja in Constantinople.
You are wise, and I do believe that would be our best course, as it would help us to strengthen against the Vintru directly above us in Germany.
That being said, I do wonder that perhaps these partners in Venice are just waiting for us to expose our backs before plunging a dagger into it.
There is only one reason why the Venetians are here.
And he
And what do you think that is?
His head just turns towards the Constantinople delegation and then turns back. He doesn't say anything.
Oh, it does make sense that everything comes down to coin now, doesn't it?
Money makes the world go round.
There are superpowers here, yes. Grand armies, great political ambitions, people of great clout and military might. We are not. They are not. Our soldiers are paid for and bought. They are not of this land. Our only true rival here are the Venetians. The rest are suitors. And Venice is here to see which one we fuck.
That is not inaccurate. In fact, if you could speak with some of the other delegations here against our Venetian cousins, if they were to turn on them, it would solve a problem for us.
The Iberians are closer to us than to them. But Venice stands between our lanes and those of the Black Sea. They could make things difficult for you. That's what I would do anyway. So perhaps what they really want is to ask for their cut.
Their territory is small, but problematic.
Growing.
In that direction. East. Always east. If it were up to me.
He sort of looks as if asking me. Oh, of course, I'm silly. I don't know anything about these things. As he disguises his former background.
I would sell to the Spaniards. Protect the trade with our mighty fleet. Be the middleman between them and the French and the whatever these people are, these holy people. And do a deal with Venice for our little corridor towards the far east, which of course goes through the lands of that Bruja over there.
That is quite an interesting fun.
Military support is something we do not have, but our coin can buy military support, not just for ourselves.
Don't you think the Iberians would consider it to be spreading themselves too thin, though?
I think that they would be happy to have material support, if not manpower. But we have not spoken to them yet. We have no idea what it is they actually want.
Being my cousins, maybe I should go and take a little bit of a walk with them.
I would highly encourage you to do so. Also, speaking of cousins, we have Diana in the Courts of Love and Alessandro. The Toreador have been quite friendly with the new clan, the Tremere, who are seeming to build a stronger base in Marseille, where St. Regis, the diplomat here, is from. Perhaps the two of you together could get some information out of them, perhaps solidify a stronger union as a united pair, showing that we work as well here together as they do there.
If I may make one more suggestion, my liege. If they are talking to us, they are not talking to each other, and they are not listening to what the others have to say. Perhaps we should divide ourselves at the same time to ensure that ears do not wander to the same place.
That is a very prudent and good idea, to be honest. Honestly, they are probably already looking to see which of us Canaanites are here to speaking. They already know Diana, they already know Alessandro. That might be enough to see that we work well together already. So let's go with what you have said, Susaru. Maybe each of you pick a delegate to speak to, and I will also talk to one of them.
I think if we gather enough information on the intentions or even possibly future plans of the rest of them, I do believe that Regis would be very interested in making sure that this domain is protected.
I'm inclined to agree.
I believe listening to Lady Diana about all diplomatic goings-on would be the most prudent. We don't want to accidentally start a war here.
But a war might be exactly what we want if it's the right war.
It also may have already begun, and we do not know it yet.
That is also true, and something that we should be careful about when speaking. I do believe that sometimes listening might also prove to be very fruitful in this situation. Susuro, I know you're good at that.
He looks away from you, but he's smiling.
And I'm glad that you're here, Alessandro, for this conversation. It's very good for upstarts such as your clan to really get to know what we Canaanites do.
I would have to say, Father, that, and he kind of takes a step forward, stroking his chin, that if we find ourselves stuck in the past, that we are doomed to die out in stagnation. We must evolve, just like civilization has evolved.
This word evolved, what does it mean? Change in the light of the Lord? Yes, I do believe that as well. But so just like you did, I'm so proud. That's just so wonderful.
These are the conversations I leave my nights for, I must say.
I would also say that in my studies, as Father would like to relate them as my trivial rituals, that most of the time disease and conflict and war It is beginning because of imbalances between all areas. If one person gets too powerful or gets too weak, a vacuum forms. This vacuum pulls war, pestilence, and everything in between to it. It's the very nature of disease.
Alessandro, this I do agree with. Even though your magics and heresy are often quite problematic, I do understand the need for power. Therefore, I think it's about time that we go and meet with these fellow Canaanites and just really get to know them. I think it would be a wonderful experience.
As the court insult, I will approach the Venetians.
Very well. Susaro will talk
As he's
to...
moving away, we'll put a hand on Alessandro and just sort of like whisper to him,
Remember, when everything dies, the flies eat the shit.
and he just continues to slide over to the Venetian delegation. The last you'll see of him is him giving yet again one of his ridiculously broken in half bows.
Diana, if I could speak with you for just a brief moment.
Of course, Father.
Alessandro, I wish you good evening. I wish to regain information from you soon, perhaps, and within the hour. Would that be good? I'm sure we can contemplate and debate a little bit more.
I believe that would be cordial.
Wonderful. I'll bid you to your work, good sir. And Prince? No. Put my arm off for Diana.
She will turn and curtsy towards the prince before leaving.
He does the same.
Father Basil will very quickly march toward the Ruha delegation, and whispering under his breath, be careful with the Susurio. He is working for everyone and no one, and in particular, mostly for himself.
Oh, I'm aware.
As a lady of your stature, of course, knows. I just wish to remind you. Oh, look! My cousins from Iberia. I need to go say hello to them. Milady. And I will jaunt over to the Iberians.
So you're going to speak with Marcel, the Lasombra from Iberia.
Yeah, that was the
Perfect.
plan. So I'm going to jump over there. But I wanted the Bruja to know that I was going to talk to them later.
Okay, so you kind of give him a side, like, he nods as if to expect you.
I will go and find Idris.
So you go straight to the
Oh, yeah.
people from Constantinople.
Yep.
Okay,
Prince Enrico.
it is.
I would warn you about whose ear you lend yourself to. If you choose to listen to those who would rather flounder about in tradition, rather than boldly explore new ideas, you might find yourself dashed against the rocks of this domain. It is not a threat, it is a warning. I do not wish to see any more vitae spilt in these lands.
I thank you for your words of encouragement and wisdom, and I do believe that it is best to hear both sides of the faith and that which is studied.
Of course, I am not anything if not one with reason. I will go talk to St. Regis.
Very well. He has a fondness for the Tremere. So, best of luck to you. All right. So, the good father jaunts on with his entourage
Yes.
to Marcel from Iberia.
Cousin! Oh, blessings be upon you. Oh, it is so good to see you here with your fellow compatriots. It's so good. How are you?
He welcomes you and gives you a familial hug and a kiss on each cheek.
Oh, yes, yes. And I do the same.
Antonio, hey,
Tell me of your travels.
My travels have led me to, we've been fighting in Madrid, we've been fighting in Turin, we've been having many issues, but it is nothing that we cannot overcome, my cousin.
Of course. The work that you do is so essential. I know. I have been bending the prince's ear, but he is interested in what the Iberian nation is doing right now.
We are allied quite well with our neighbors to the north, with the Courts of Love.
Oh, really?
Yes. We're trying to keep the English Mithras people as stalled as long as we can, who are constantly trying to cross over the channel. But all is not so bad. We are mainly focused on pushing the Ishira off of our lands.
Yes, the heretics.
Yes. Their blood sorcery, Father Basile. It is dangerous.
Those usurpers, all of them. I understand. I know. Them and the children of Hakim, or whatever they call themselves, they're just worthless. Lost souls, really, a lot of them.
Dangerous, heretic blood sorcery.
True.
And our good friends in France seem to be entertaining this clan of usurpers.
Yes. It is really sad that their work and knowledge makes them so interesting, novel to our kind.
Pedestrian, even.
Yes. Well, but it is important to think. Now, wouldn't it be novel if we fought fire with fire? Maybe perchance we can talk to the children of Tremere. May have a little bit of an agreement with you.
I would prefer to remove that weapon from the battlefield completely, my cousin.
I understand. But think of the possibilities, Marcel. We do not need to waste our blood if we can send in fodder.
You have a very musical voice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I forgot that my phone was on. We do not need to waste blood if we can send in fodder for a war that we do not want to fight.
Would you like to make a
leaders.
manipulation and persuasion roll?
Oh yeah, totally. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up. All right. Do I add in my status for this?
You can.
Okay. All right. So let's get that going. So manipulation 2. What would it be? Leadership? Or
you can lose leadership with your specialty, along with that works.
Oh wow! So that's going to be 5.
It's a good pool.
6. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Roll 9. Let's see what we got here. Boom. Oh yeah. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
You won that by the skin of your teeth, as he got a critical with 6.
Shit. Okay. All right. Wow. But yeah, so that's what I'm swinging at him.
He thinks about it.
Cousin,
You know, at the worst, they kill each other off, right?
exactly. Cousin, you have to think about this. Our blood is more essential
It is.
than these rabble. These lost souls will come to God's grace in due time.
Cain's grace.
Yes. And so if we just maybe perchance get them on board and talk to our plight and of course make good inroads with the prince here.
Which you are obviously doing. He's one of us, a magister. And you are speaking like a true magister.
Absolutely.
I am honored by you. Thank you for teaching me out of my pig-headedness and short sight. I think you are right.
Cousin, absolutely. That's what I am here for. After all, I am just a humble man of God.
Don't be so short on yourself. You are quite magnificent.
Oh, well, thank you. But,
Give our cousin Enrico my best.
of course. So I will count on you to work with the prince here, and we will work on the court of love because they're very tight with those new usurpers. So we'll work on it. We'll make things move and shake. Okay?
This will be fine, as I have a good relationship with them already. However, we keep these decisions close to the chest.
Oh, no, of course. Come on.
For we would have already angered the Ventru for even talking like this.
Oh, of course. You know that the holiness and quiet of the confession is just part of my everyday being.
As it always has been. Blessings, cousin.
Blessings.
And who would like to speak to their delegate next?
I will go and speak with Idris.
Very well. Idris doesn't look like the typical brew, huh? He's a skinnier, older man, shaved head, long beard. And he is extremely excited to see you walking over, as if you just picked him for the prom.
I will smile my winning smile.
My lady, it is so good to see you at this wonderful night where all of us have gathered. Please tell me you've brought me some good news about our friendship from the Byzantium Empire to your great city of Genoa.
I have, in fact. Things are going very well.
Do tell, princess.
Well, it seems as though our negotiations have turned out to be a lot more fruitful than we expected. And
This is good.
I do believe that the efforts that we are making within that domain may in fact trickle down to you.
I like the sound of this, and so will Mikhail.
I mean, you know, your trade and everything like that, and having all of those ports and everything like that is very lucrative. And I do believe that if we can secure negotiations for having those specific items brought through, we may be able to work with you on that and get them out to your trade ports.
I have been told by the city officials who are responsible for the Dream in Constantinople that we are willing to partner with a merchant republic such as yourself. We would much rather be on board with Genoa than any of the other competitors. So we are willing to allow you access to the Black Sea, provide you an embassy in Constantinople. Do you speak for? I know you're new to the domain. Do you have the authority to make these decisions, or are you speaking on the behalf of Enrico?
I'm speaking on behalf of Enrico,
Oh,
and
very good.
I will also make sure to have Regis get in touch with you while he is here.
You would do that as well.
I would be delighted to do that for you.
That is music to my ears. This will, I warn you, greatly agitate your former ally of Venice, who was seeking this agreement with us. But we do not want a rivalry to disrupt our own shipping. We just want one. So be prepared for any kind of repercussion from Venice, but we will help you with such affairs if such a thing happens.
I will make sure to speak with Regis on this as well and see if maybe I could speak with Luigi on kind of, calming those ruffled feathers a little bit.
If anyone could do it, it is you.
I appreciate the faith.
You do not want a buffoon like myself to be speaking on such delicate matters. I don't know why I'm even here.
Oh,
I tell you.
You do well enough. I mean,
Well enough is barely it. Thank you.
if you were willing, I'd be more than happy to teach you and work with you on the intricacies of social delicacies.
You're practically convincing me to move here, my friend. So we will see. Perhaps there's a need for Constantinople to have an embassy in Genoa.
I am not saying that there wouldn't be any sort of, political benefits to you coming here. She'll smile very pointedly in his direction.
Yes. I would just kick the hornet's nest perhaps a little too much, I see. This is why you are the diplomat and I am the oaf. I joke. But thank you. I will pass this on to Michael and the council, and I look forward to speaking with St. Regis.
Sounds wonderful. I will go and find him right now, and I'll go make my way over to Regis.
Let us cut quickly to our friend Cesario, who is on his way to speak with a Cappadocian named Luigi.
Greetings, friends.
I remember that noise.
Of course, it is so well known.
Is it not? You're so full of hot air, it practically just jumps out of you.
It's the climate. The air here is hot.
You speak of the climate, I'm the one in Venice, built on a swamp.
Yes. Yes.
You have it.
Flies there suck more blood than the citizenry.
Oh. Always the joker, Susano.
Yes, well, I am here to be the man on point. But being from Venice as you are, you also understand that while there are...
And he points at the group sort of subtly with this strange crook of the arm that he has.
Noble.
High houses, yeah. Myself included, don't you forget.
Nobility that was paid for. And that is the reality that you have discovered, yes. The first in the world to do so, that I am aware of. And I am aware of so many things, my friend. Let me tell you why I'm the one that has been sent over here. Because I, unlike Noble, am the one who makes deals for himself as much as anyone else. Much like you, do not speak for possibly even Venice, let alone Veneto, let alone Italy. But together we can open doors, you see. And when we are the ones who open the door, we are the first to dip our hands into what comes through. Of course, I speak of our friends over there. He gestures towards the Byzantine delegation. And that's why you're here, is it not?
Yes, I see them smiling already. Casting us off is not even an option. We are interested in making deals to make that stop.
But with who will you make such a deal?
I don't know. Do you want to be on the losing team, Cesario, or the winning team?
My team always wins, you see, because it is not a team. But for you, I will do something very special indeed. You know my name, yes, the Whisper. A whisper goes a long way into the ears of many people. It can be placed into the right ear here this night for you to open one door while we open another. The only thing better than one massive, powerful trading empire in this part of the world would be two, and we are better placed than anyone. One on one side of the big shoe, one on the other. Call us the 2 feet of Italy, perhaps. Now, there are people from the Holy Roman Empire here, and people from France here, yes. One to one side of the Alps of us, the other to the other side of the Alps of you. And there's someone else here who wants to do business with both of them and can do it easy through us, yes.
And who might that be?
Through you. I think I can convince Enrico to carve a line where we both get strong, nobody gets weak, and if the two of us don't fight, no one gets fucked, apart from Noble. And while their little armies fight each other and stab each other with the mercenaries they buy with our money and the men they purchased with our money and owe us all the debt in the fucking world, what happens next? The war, it rolls on, and we never fight, we only profit. Profit. Because when everyone is dead, the flies eat the shit. And that's what we are. It sounds like an insult. But once you understand what it means, my friend.
I understand perfectly what it means, being from the clan of death.
So, will you open the door to the Holy Roman Empire? Will I sing this song quietly in the ears of our friends?
Give me.
We take the French charter, you take the Austrian, German, whatever the hell they call themselves now. The two of us take a nice little tasty piece each, and then we fuck everyone and everyone dies. And then we take what's left. And before they know it, we own everything. Yeah? Of course, I'm sure our friends will want me to sing this song to you. But like I said, I am my team. A team of one, and it always wins, friend. Always bet on the Whisper.
Let's have the Whisperer make a roll. See if his incredible words and very moving will match. Let's use persuasion, manipulation.
Manipulation and persuasion. 5 dice.
I'm going to give you an extra die because of your merchant contacts. You know how to speak to merchants. And this is someone who you are talking his language. This is another merchant city-state.
That is 3 successes. And nothing bad. No ones.
Tie goes to the player.
Huzzah!
And he's convinced. Let's let them kill each other. And you're right. You be the fly, we'll be the rot. And a coin is most easily earned from the pockets of a dead man.
And so much more, I hear.
Let us not shake on it, because eyes are on us.
Why would you shake hands with me?
He offers his crusty, flaking palms up to the sky as he says that, and that horrid, dripping green smile spreads across his face, and then he bows his head.
Because you are worthy of it, after what you said. That is why.
Don't let the noble hear you say that.
He slides away like the snake he is.
Very good. Alessandro, you were speaking to Saint Regis from the Courts of Love, who has another warlock with him named Simone. A young French woman, not embraced long ago, who he is trying to show the other attendees here this is a cause he cares quite most about. However, this is a dangerous place. He brought a neonate, just in case something went truly south. Alessandro! Nice to see you.
St. Regis, it has been a while.
Too long. Yes. What news do you have for us?
I hear whispers from some, and examining the current state of the world, I do believe that we are at the beginning of a grand conflict. One that I wish to get ahead of before it becomes a festering wound which we cannot treat. Shall we walk and talk? Perhaps from the ears of those who would seek to listen in?
Yes. Come with me. There's a small grove not far from here that would suit our purposes quite well. May I bring Susanna with me? The young tree girl looks up at you.
Do you vouch for her?
Yes. The regent vouches for her, so I must as well.
Then I do not see any problem.
We have... Go ahead.
He'll lead St. Regis to the grove that he is indicating, walking slowly, is trying to be inconspicuous as possible.
Tremere is talking with the Toreador. Nothing out of the ordinary. They know we are trying new options. As of the Ventru, we'd rather have your very skilled clan closer to us than to be working with them.
I do not believe that would be a problem, as it seems that a few of the holier-than-thou clans have looked down at us as merely a passing fad. Heretics, they call us.
I've been told the real heretics are those Salubri who did unspeakable things.
I believe
You are merely remedying a disease with, frankly, a much more useful bloodline. You should be very proud of your accomplishments, rooting out these infernalists.
I thank you for such high praises, although I do feel that perhaps they will be for naught in the coming future.
Why so?
The Holy Empire, as we know it,
Hey, kids.
they are attempting to move in areas that they have no footing in yet. They are becoming big and bloated.
We have our own problem with them back home.
Yes. A body that cannot have proper food or water or nutrition. These are things that mere mortals only think about. But we can apply to everyday situations in the political climate as well.
Speaking to a very humane member of a very humane clan, I completely agree.
Eventually, this empire will collapse on itself, I believe. However, if we flounder about too much, playing with power and warring between each other, we'll be crushed beneath the body when it falls.
I worry about our neighbors to the south. They hate blood sorcery. They hate the Ashira. We've been long. We had a mutual peace agreement with them, but I feel their hatred of this matter is going to blind them.
What if I told you, in only a mere amount of time, maybe 100 years, maybe 200 or so, that won't matter anymore?
And I thought for sure you weren't a Malkavian, friend.
I'm not. Or at least I don't think so. But I've seen dreams, I've seen whispers. And he's going to ruffle through his bag, producing a leather-bound notebook with a cloth around it. During my time, my clan has given me special provisions to investigate going-ons in the world. And as he flips open, you see sketches of bodies with weird afflictions and extremities.
Oh. What is the source of this? Those salubri or something else?
An affliction of some sort that has been relatively emerging in this world. However, it's not the first time it's been seen. Records go back as far as 500 years ago. A plague. Now, that course has been set and dealt with. I'm seeing cases re-emerge back in the world, though. I have a feeling that a second wave is incoming. Bigger than the first that was under your own emperor, Justinian the First.
It'd be a real shame if this was a big problem in the Holy Roman Empire.
My thoughts exactly. I don't believe we need to fight among each other. I just believe that if we can get ahead of this, we can survive it. And I think that playing nice with each other is the only way we get ahead of it.
We have played nice for far too long with these Holy Roman Empire, the Grand Courts of Love, the Grand Court, who fights the Courts of Love. We want France to be one. We do not want to share it with anyone. I want them out. I want them weakened. However you can help me with that, that is what I want to hear.
I am one of many who speaks for Prince Enrico, as you understand. I think that if we could form an alliance of some sort, and we can unify our forces, we may be able to push the Empire out without wasting too much of our resources. We don't need to completely dominate them or kick them. We just need to push them back enough and let history do the rest.
Perhaps. I would believe you a little more if you were to find this plague of yours and put it in a very convenient place.
You wish me to go against my oath and unleash a pandemic onto this world?
If not you, then find someone else who will. Or I should.
You see, a very notable man. A man who I might appear to have disgust for at first, but actually have great respect, once told me that when everything decays, the only thing left are those who feed on it. We just need to survive that decay, and then we can feed on it. I don't want to see brothers killing brothers, though. Countrymen killing countrymen.
Well then, let the killing be done by the pestilence.
I will attempt to look into this pandemic for you. If you promise me that when the time comes, and when Prince Enrico calls for allies, we can count on you.
Weaken the Venthro. Stand up to the Holy Roman Empire. And we will be there. Because we will have one less enemy to really fight.
My thoughts exactly.
Susanna, you could learn a thing or two from this man. Perhaps we'll send you here on a field study sometime. I'll be getting back to my delegation. I hear whispers that the Byzantium fellow wants to speak with me. I bid you a good evening.
I bid you a good evening as well. And remember, there is nothing that we cannot learn from the blood.
Yeah.
Speaking of blood, can I do something?
Yeah, I got a thing too.
Can everybody?
Oh, damn it. Well, as he departs from the Venetian delegation, I'm going to locate where the prince is right now. And if are there any ghouls in particular attendant to him, or is it just a sort of standard set roaming about?
There's one, and then he's also with his child, who is his current seneschal.
Okay. Just judging by the flow of the room, would it be completely out of place if one of these ghouls that are kicking about over here were to approach the prince?
No, that wouldn't be out of the ordinary.
Or are they going, here and there and everywhere sort of thing?
Most of them are standing their guard, doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Or these are guards, they're not actually attendants?
Correct.
Ah, right, okay. So Antonio is going to move into somewhere near the prince where no one can see him. He's going to use Mask of 1,000 Faces to take on the appearance of a sort of page with the Genoan heraldry. And he's going to approach the prince as though bearing a message from that he's just got off the road, and he'll look kind of weather beaten and someone that's like roads here for a distance, and approach him in that guise so as not to raise too many suspicions.
Yes, my friend, what can I do for you?
Great lord, as his voice is now changed under the power of the discipline. May I speak with you in confidence for but a moment? I have a message for you. And as he's kind of fiddling in his satchel, he speaks quite quietly. It is I, Il Sussurro. Forgive me, it's here somewhere. The Venetians are willing to make a deal with us. The trade through Byzantium to France comes through us, and to the Holy Roman Empire goes through them.
I believe that that is a precious piece we can buy for ourselves. It also gives you time. I recommend you accept, and we can both profit. And he takes out, like, essentially what is a rolled piece of paper with nothing written on it and hands it to him. And then bows grandly and sort of walks, like, literally out, turns back into himself, and then goes back behind the pillar he was hiding behind before. Waits there.
He pockets it. That was probably going to happen anyway, but goddamn Susura.
Can I make a move?
You may.
Two things. One, look towards the Bruja, act like I'm walking towards them. I don't. I then quickly go, oh, and wait, and turn quickly, walk towards Dominic.
So
And,
Dominic
and I know-
kind of
I
sees
know-
you walking towards them, and he's like, another one going to the fucking Byzantiums.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you catch him completely off guard. Like,
Wait, what did he say? One more time.
he was saying to himself, those
Another
fucking...
another one going to the fucking Byzantiums.
Right.
Okay. He goes, I go, my liege,
Yes.
if I may have a moment, I think I have a bit of a interesting proposition for you.
Speak it.
Are you sure you're in a place of confidence with these people around you?
Never.
Such is the way of both of our clans.
Tonio listening and intent.
Come. Speak where we're alone-ish.
Sounds good. And I will lead him out.
I'm going to pop unseen passage and follow them.
Yeah,
Give me a rouse check. Let me know if you get hungrier.
Roll that shit.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to give me one for mask too.
Okay, I'll do another one.
No problem. People just doing whatever.
That
Whatever.
is
Yeah, whatever.
a success and a fail. So I am one hungrier than I was before.
Cool. So you were now at 2. Perfect. Back to you.
Right.
Father.
Yes. I want to say that I really appreciate the time that you're taking, Dominic, to speak to someone like me. I know that both of us are in different sorts.
Yeah, you support the Pope instead of the Holy Roman Empire.
I'm not here to speak on religion, actually. Well, I am, but more so to speak on the concepts of Christianity versus those of heresy.
Mm.
See, my cousins from Iberia have been having quite an interesting situation with the Ashira. Those pathetic, awful heretics.
We are
And-
very aware.
And see, I always come to the grand tradition that an enemy of my enemy is my friend. And though that we may be of different viewpoints, what it really comes down to is that we are against the driving force of heresy trying to come into our great continent.
I agree that that is a unifying point, as we've seen with the Mortals and their crusades,
Of course.
that the Holy Roman Empire himself has taken it upon time and time again. Rumor already has it there's another one forming, the 4th.
Hmm.
That may happen in a matter of 100 years. Who knows?
Perhaps. Where we go, only time will tell the ways of such matters. The fact is that the prince here and those of all around us, notice who is not sent the delegation. Is here. No one is here from them. Just us.
If they were welcome here, Genoa would be in much hot water than it would be.
Of course. I just have an inkling, though, that even though we may have differences, we're more so on the same page.
Enemies with common enemies are not necessarily allies. Father Bastille.
Well, of course. I mean, we all have sort of things. But the Republic here is just really not interested, quite frankly, in working against the Holy Roman Empire. We don't really have any reason to get into dark, fighting and waste of blood between such high clans. I mean, that is below us.
No,
Why
not to
do
the
it?
Tomasek.
Well, those monsters are, well,
You said it, monsters.
Indeed. What I wish to just say, and kind of make my point clear, because I do speak with the words of the prince, is that we do not wish to create turmoil between both of our estates, as it were. I know that you came here. Let's be serious. I know that you are looking for who we are going to ally with. I know you hate those Byzantines.
I do.
That they are but a low clan, and
A low clan. They're run by a Toriar, fourth generation Methuselah, with delusions of grandeur.
Exactly. So, when push comes to shove, we, the crown and the scepter, have to know who stands together when it comes down to it.
Let me tell you something, Father Basile. You bring up the Byzantiums. That Michael in Constantinople, he thinks of himself as the actual Saint Michael. As a man of faith, how do you feel about that?
I find that to be heresy.
Because it's clearly bullshit.
No man...
He's a Canaanite.
Yes, of course. No man that walks this land is a saint. You had to die to become a saint. And thankfully...
Yeah, been there, done that.
Exactly. I don't believe that man has much to...
So perhaps you could bend the ear of your own prince that the very root of Byzantium culture right now is run by someone who believes he's an angel.
Well, you know that the clan Lasombra has always been one of religion and faith.
Which we greatly respect.
Wow. I see, as I said, we're not too different, both of us. Good. I will perhaps do that for you. Kind of send that along. And before you hear anything, I would appreciate it if you come speak with me about matters. There is, of course, many levels of intrigue going on in the court right now, wars and such the like, including... But one question, I do have one last question for you.
Of course.
How do you think of these usurpers, these witches?
The Tremere.
Yes.
Well...
You know that the Byzantiums are allied with these. I mean, I understand they are heroes fighting off the demons that are gallivanting across the land, of course. But it's just such a strange, interesting allyship to the fact that we have witches allying with those that considers themselves to be walking saints.
He leans closer to you and whispers in your ear, "You've caught on to something, Father Basile, that many here do not realize.
What is that?
Byzantium is harboring those third eye freaks. The Salubri. They are not, in fact, very friendly with the Tremere. They think that this is some kind of genocide. that they are harboring and providing sanctuary as little angels they are. We have allied with the Tremere ourselves to great effect in our war with the Tomasek, the Zamis. So, should anything like that come up, we side with the witches, as you say.
Well, that's good to know. And I appreciate this deeply. I will bring this to the prince's note. Maybe, again, we're not so different, you and I.
We'll see.
And he'll walk away.
Good night.
Good night.
Where does Dominic go after the father leaves him? Or does he follow him? Like, are they both like lockstep together going back in?
He lets him walk by himself away. Dominic then goes to speak with Marcel.
Well, before he does that, a jaunty tune will strike up, being horribly whistled from behind him.
Yes.
Interesting story.
Which one?
So, and he like steps out as if he's walking through treacle. He just does not look like a well man.
I too have been speaking with others tonight. And I know that...
How much is this going to cost?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
He already hands you money. That's a fucking lie if I've ever heard one.
He's not going to pass that up. He pockets it.
I know you're not.
So... But it will cost you nothing. In fact, I'm here to fill your pockets, not empty them.
Go on.
You stand in an interesting position.
I always have.
And if what you have just told the holy man is true, and I don't think you are someone who lies habitually, I know them well. Well, then there is something you can do for someone here. Something I can help you do. You understand?
Enlighten me.
The Spaniards are fighting the Moors, yes?
Yes.
They need people to help them fight the war. I'm sure Enrico might blockade the ports with our lovely wooden wall of floating ships. But manpower is something he does not have to give. You, on the other hand, have not only the manpower to offer, but if what you told the priest is true, something that may just be able to counter the special hocus pocus of those Moorish, whatever they call them.
Ashira.
Yeah. So,
How does this concern me? The longer these shadowy magisters in Iberia are fighting the Ashira, the better it is for me. Let them kill each other off. It's one less kingdom for me to pick up the pieces of.
Are you a man who understands history? Surely you must be, or part of it, yes. We are all a living part of history.
If you start talking about Carthage, I'm going to knock your head off.
What's that got to do with me? Seriously, come on. I wasn't even born. Carthage was not a thing. You understand?
It certainly wasn't.
But I do understand Iberia, you see.
Do you?
And there's been fighting there for a long time. Do you think when the Moors were fighting the Castilians and the Aragonese and all the rest of them, the Leons, the Asturians, do you think that someone was standing there saying, well, no one will win the war, everyone will die? Because what happened? The Moors won the war. And now if you want to do business there, you must do business with them. For now. But there's a reason they're not standing here. The father was right about that. Because they cannot stand here because of dogma, because of the rest of these things. But if you want to fill your pockets and get back the coins you've so generously given me, well, you have to sell something.
It wasn't alone, Cesario.
And so, if you want
Sometimes we pay you to go away, you know.
if you want to move something into Spain, the fastest way to do it is through our ports, our shipping lanes, and our navy. Yes?
God damn it, you're right about that.
And so...
But I don't want to send anything to Spain.
No. But you will, because I'm going to open the Venetian door to the rest of your people.
Are you now?
Yes, I am. And all that will do is sweeten the Spaniards, and everyone gets to make money.
That sounds great. So you're going to open a door for us to work with your rival, who will
What is
then
a rival?
grow and potentially
A
crush
rival
you
is
as
just
a competitor.
A rival is just a friend you have not made yet.
That's so sweet, Cesario.
I know. I'm a sweet, sweet man.
Oh, you're the sweetest, aren't you? This is, if you can, great.
I
we'll
already
cut you in.
have. Do you think
You already have.
Do you think I would make this offer if there was the
You don't even
slightest
wait
chance
for
that
permission for this bullshit, do you?
Why would I do that? Whose side am I on, Tom?
You're on your own side, and it's not a surprise.
And so that means I work for you.
Yeah,
And I work for them, and I work for everybody.
and yourself, which is fine.
So,
Fine,
if
okay,
I can
if you...
do a favor for you, then you can do a favor for me. And la 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 la.
Yeah, la 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 la. What exactly is this favor? To the point.
The favor is you are going to make the Spaniards nice and wet for me to put my fingers in. And Enrico is going to fuck them. And everyone is going to be happy. And what makes everyone happy makes me strong, rich, powerful, and just as ugly as I was the previous night.
All
As
right.
long as I stink in the sewers, no one gives a shit. But it's the pus from these fingers, my friend, that makes the wheels turn.
You're a survivor. I didn't
Send
figure to
your
be such a
mercenaries.
romantic either.
Send your mercenaries through Genoa, send your trade through Venice, and spread your massive German penises all over the world. Wonderful.
Takashi.
And I mean, if we can keep the Spaniards and the Moors fighting for longer, then there's
Then yeah,
more
that's
weapons
great.
to sell, more mercenaries to be hired, more things to be moved, more money to be made.
Emperor Frederick, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick, is talking about another war in Jerusalem within the next 100 years.
I see. Then what
If what you say is true, we will use Genoan ships to go from point A to point B and wage that war. But I need something from you, Cesario.
Something that only I can give you, I'm sure.
When this happens, get enough people there to have the war start. But then, I want you to abandon many of those soldiers in Constantinople. And as you drop them off to resupply, leave them there. We're not going to pay them. They will pay themselves by tearing the gold off of the very walls of Constantinople. And we will watch it burn as the Latin Empire grows and takes the Mediterranean. And if you can do this, you will be handsomely rewarded and brought into our fold.
Does the ferryman take responsibility for what his passengers do?
Never. And you would be surprised to hear this, but one of the great houses, Constantinople, Alfonso de la Sombra, is already working on this deal to make it happen.
He smiles. This intrigue is greatly pleasing to him, and enriching his sort of store of knowledge, and he's loving it.
Well then, it's a terrible shame what's going to happen in Byzantium, is it not?
The worst.
And
the
we'll
best.
have complete deniability, of course.
Of course.
Bear in mind, the prince will have no idea what those soldiers are going to do.
I thank you for that. He might just morally disagree with that plan of action.
But if he can tell the truth, so much the better.
So much the better.
And I will slime my way back into the meeting now.
It's been a busy evening. Does anyone else have anything they want to do while the scene is still in play?
After that analogy, I'm not sure.
Hard to top, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, I was going to head over to Regis and talk with him.
Okay.
And just check in with him as to how he is doing, if he needs anything while he is here, and how I may best serve the Court of Love and their interests.
And he sees you and greets you more warmly than you have been greeted by anyone here tonight, as a true member of your family.
Oh yeah, and it is equally returned.
Diana, how have you must have been very busy tonight with your set of skills. How did you fare?
I am still working my way through the crowd, hoping to gather some more information. I have a feeling that there is a lot of smiling faces, hidden daggers tonight.
More than ever.
Yep. I did speak with Idris, though, before I came over to check in with you.
Oh, the dear old Bruja. He's a soft poet for a warrior clan.
He is. I wanted to make sure I directed you towards him at some point this evening to speak with him on the use of the ports and how that logistically would happen between us and the Court of Love.
Byzantium wants to side with the Court of Love, and why wouldn't they? Michael is much more on our side than he is the Grand Court. We would be extremely open to that.
He is excitedly enthusiastic about it as well.
I'll make a point to have one of my people contact him and meet him tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
We are in your debt.
If there's anyone else you would like me to try to open a door for you to speak with, please let me know.
I think tonight it's more about closing some doors that should not have been left open in the first place.
Oh, I can help with that too.
I know you can. If I think of anything, I'll make sure to contact you.
Wonderful, I appreciate it.
Good evening, my lady.
Have a wonderful evening too, my lord.
He tips his fedora and walks away.
That just soured the rest of that scene.
God, you thought I was offensive.
All right, and she will make her way back to the prince. And yeah, other than small talk with the prince and continually reassuring and enforcing the support of the Court of Love with him.
Very good. The rest of the dignitaries depart for their long voyages back from whence they came. You are left with Prince Enrico, waiting eagerly to see what each of you might have to say.
I'm going to try to grab Alessandro before we go back to the birds.
Okay.
German suplex.
Yeah, no, just I'm just going to like literally like guide him back and be like, I know that our agreements have not always been the best in the past, but I have a bit of information for you that I think you in particular would really enjoy.
Information, Father Bastille?
Yes.
What have you brought me?
This is information that you may wish to get your clan to give me some sort of cost for, but I'm going to give it to you for free as an ally. The Bruja of Constantinople are harboring your, shall we say, enemy.
My enemy?
Your clan's enemy.
You don't mean
Yes.
the cursed
Yeah.
three-eyed?
Uh-huh. Whatever you wish to call them.
This... No. That is... Why what? Why would they be doing that?
Well, this is why I wanted to bring it to your notion. I know that you and yours obviously work to eradicate this horror and heresy from the earth. And quite frankly, that is where me and you get along. I know that we do not believe in the same kind of styles of concepts of religion, but the fact of the matter is that heresy is heresy. It should be eradicated where it is found.
I see.
So watch yourself when dealing with them. Watch your words around them as well.
What is your game here, Father Bastille?
Oh.
What tidings do
Wow.
you seek to get from this?
Well, there is some bits of bobs that I do have. I mean, my cousins are fighting the children of Hakim, the Shira. For this notion, we would like it if you maybe came to our aid a bit. You know, an enemy of an enemy is our friend.
I do not speak for the entirety of my clan.
Oh, of course. I know, Alessandro. But your higher ups, I know that you can speak to them for me and for us. We would appreciate that.
So that is your offer?
Yes.
The Sobari for the Asamites?
Well, yeah, indeed. And of course, we would help you. You help us. We work together. Bringing your clan upward is the way to be. Someone of your stature deserves to be shown to the world.
I find the change in tone to be quite surprising, Father Bastille. Please forgive me for my
Well, what was that word you said? Evolution? Things change.
Yes, things are said to have changed over hundreds of years, not the course of a single hour. But indeed, this information is, how you say, too important to simply doubt you.
I hope you use it to good work. Please, I won't take any more of your evening. I'm sure the prince is waiting.
And Alessandro will give Father Bastille a nod that he's not given him all night,
Yeah.
and will walk back to Prince Enrico.
Yeah. And he'll just shuffle his cassock up and come to the prince.
He's there waiting. My friends, how did you fare?
Well, I'm sure someone could go first. I don't want to take up too much time.
Then you must have the most to say. That is interesting, Father Basile. You are usually so short on your words.
Oh, come on now, Prince. I do love talking after all.
Gift of gab, indeed. I did not realize it was one of the gifts of Cain bestowed upon our magisters.
It is. That is one of our many gifts. While my brethren do tend to enjoy the shadows, much like the Nosferatu or others, I just tend to enjoy the shadows of speech.
Alessandro, you are most notorious for being a serious man, and you have a very serious face. What did you learn tonight?
Not much that has not already been stated. Saint
Oh, so you failed. That's
No,
spectacular.
I did not say that.
A joke.
The Court of Love obviously would like to play nice with us. They would like to ally themselves with us, but of course they are very adamant about allies in a war against the Holy Roman Empire.
Yes.
I, however, they have also given me insight into a possible plan to deal with that, though. However, after careful consideration of current information that has just landed on my lap, I say that while the enemy that we have here, or possible conflict, is not just the Holy Roman Empire, it is the conflict that has arisen between them and the Byzantines, those in Constantinople.
Yes.
They hate one another, and they're willing to destroy everything in between to get to one another.
And let us make sure that we are not caught in between.
I dare say I'm afraid that if we ally with either, we will be drawn into a war we are not ready yet to face.
It may not be avoidable, but let us hear what the others have to say, unless you have something else to contribute. How exactly are they looking into this option they provided you to destabilize one or another?
I feel that speaking about it in current company might bring unwanted fears.
And company, or with the council of people I have selected to help
Please.
rule this domain.
You can
Do
trust
not get
me,
so shy.
Alessandro.
Then the question I would pose to yourself, my prince, is this: what is more important to your domain? The golden luxuries of the people looking up to you, or survival?
Survival.
Then I dare say the only option, the option I have considered, is to unleash something so unholy that it will sour the rest of my soul for eternity, for my own life.
Tell it to the philosophers and tell us what exactly the plan is then.
A weapon, an ailment, an affliction that I've come across, that I believe with the right tampering of blood, we can use against all kind, including our enemies.
In which enemy are you looking to unleash this pestilence upon?
while I considered the fact that maybe the Empire was the one to target, I believe the only one that could possibly stop this plague would be my clan's enemy, the Subari.
Interesting.
I believe that
Coming from you, that is very interesting.
if we are able to eliminate this avenue and finish off the remainders of that clan, if they can even call themselves a clan anymore, which they cannot, then they will be unable to stop what we will be bringing.
I see. If we are to find some of these, would it be prudent to keep them here in secret to heal our own people? Should this plan of yours backfire and the sickness spread beyond your control?
Well, you could always ask those of Constantinople.
And why would I ask them that question? Father Seal?
Oh, my liege, I have come across a very interesting bit of information that the Holy Roman Empire doesn't particularly wish to fight against those of the same kind of cloth, especially when those of Constantinople are harboring the enemies of Alessandro's people.
It is quite a damning statement.
It may be a lie,
Maybe true.
but it may be true. And I don't understand why Dominic would lie to me about something like that. Seems rather useless.
Agreed. Diana, how did it fare for you tonight?
So I have a couple of options for you. If you are done harboring the extremist potentially damning and lying of the religious, and
come now.
turn to the political. As we all know, while the holy tend to the soul, the political actually tend to the actual needs of the people that they look over. So I think pandering to that idea is going to do nothing but inflame things that don't need to be inflamed at this point.
Playing it safe.
I think a certain amount of caution is definitely due, but I think if you give into being too cautious, you are going to miss opportunity. And I will tell you why, my dear prince.
Please do.
So, speaking with the representative from Constantinople, he is very enthusiastic with working with us, establishing a good working relationship. And the Court of Love is more than willing to help foster that. And if needed, should conflict occur between other empires and rulers, the Court of Love would be more than willing to help with protection over your domain.
That is good to hear. You've accomplished much tonight in that regard. And prudence can itself be of great value.
Giving into fear-mongering does nothing for a political agenda.
Nicely said. Susuro.
Who's been standing in the back, dressed quietly and being quiet?
Why do I have the feeling you have you're going to have the biggest info bomb about to drop on me? Probably because that is what we pay you for and value for.
I believe I have solved all of your problems tonight.
All of my problems.
If you're prepared to listen to me, you don't have to do that, you understand. I am at your pleasure here.
Spare me the humility.
First, Venice was here to get what they could out of the Byzantine delegation. I looked at a map and cut it in half. Of course, that opens the door to the Holy Roman Empire. If we split the trade with them, we both become stronger and can both work together.
Are they truly willing to do this?
Oh, yes.
The Venetians.
Oh, yes.
Surprising.
You understand that people who care about things like honor, nobility, and family, they do things differently than people that value profit, money, gain. You have to understand who you are talking to before you speak.
And you spoke to them as a merchant,
Well, that
as
is
the
what they are.
city-state merchants we are. Very well done.
So, they will take the Holy Roman Empire routes, we will take the French. But
Fair
we
enough to me.
also sit in an interesting position to benefit from giving the Holy Roman Empire this assistance in kind. They are planning another crusade. You probably know this already.
It was a rumor, but it seems a little more solidified.
If the Emperor has already begun mobilizing troops, I assume the Pope has contacted him. He may not have. I don't
They
know.
may not have. They hate each other.
But there are two things that we can do with this. First, they're going to be moving an awful lot of manpower, an awful lot of equipment. You can use this to broker an agreement where they are prepared to help our good friends in Spain beat their heretical opponents. This will pave the way, create the routes, pave the road, perhaps, to allow them to begin stationing their men. And then when we move them, we will move them via Constantinople.
See,
Now, understand, Prince, we are just there to transport the troops. We are not necessarily sending anything that will be our own manpower.
no,
Because
never.
when you look at the board here, we have to understand what we are. We are not a military power in this area.
No. We are a naval power.
So let us use what we have. We send the Holy Roman troops into Spain. We blockade the Moorish ports. We cut them off. We starve them out. We then have a nice, tasty big friend beside us over here. A nice, tasty big friend beside us up there and up there, as everyone else has done their job tonight. And once Christendom is happy, it is ready to send its full power against Jerusalem via Constantinople, carried by our ships, paid for by the Pope. You're very welcome, my prince.
You've all done quite well. A little bit of everything each of you have brought to the table tonight has helped solidify the future plan of this domain. It still begs us to wonder, what is we to do about the Salubri, the Tremere, and this potential bioweapon against the Holy Roman Empire? But I suppose that is a talk for tomorrow night.
I would counsel, Prince, that these things have a habit of working themselves out in time.
We'll see. I will see you again in 2 nights' time. Let's think on everything we've heard tonight.
Of course, Maurice.
With that, retire for the evening. In 2 nights, a delegation from Marseille arrives. Some carriages transporting something that's specifically for Prince Enrico only. He comes into his home. And before long, he calls Father Bastille, Susuro, and Diana to meet with him in private.
My liege.
There is something very interesting that just arrived. I wanted to speak with you before I brought Alessandro on board with this, which may be regretful. It may cause some concern, but...
Oh, our wayward brother, I know he has such a weak constitution.
Something was just shipped to me. Someone.
And who is that, my prince?
They have 3 eyes.
Oh,
They are staked and in boxes. And the driver is trying to get them to sanctuary out of French territory.
oh, I'm so sorry.
As the Tremere have obviously become quite close with France. What are we to do with them?
Well, I believe that we have found ourselves in the situation of a bargaining chip. We can, quite frankly, easily talk to the Byzantine Empire and Burha and go and see if the venture are correct. If we offer them this poor soul to give them peace, sanctuary, and they take the bait, then we know for the fact that the Holy Roman Empire was correct. That this group of people is harboring what we see as, quite frankly, a large populace of heretics and those that are destroying the modern society that we work in. And also, Alessandro, if he does have this weapon, and if he is correct, then we know who truly our enemies are that needs the weapon to be used on.
You assumed something there, Father, and I have a bit of a surprise. It is not one of these 3-eyed people. It is 5.
Oh,
And I think we should go with your suggestion by sending them one, making them happy, and showing that yes, perhaps we are on their side. We are doing our best to preserve this culture and way of life. But then perhaps Diana, Susuro, and yourself, what do you think? Do we send the other back to France? The others? We split the numbers in half, appease both sides, stay neutral, but then at what? At the cost of betraying our kind?
My concern for this weapon that he has so graciously brought forth is the control of it. What's to say that we won't be affected? Who's to say that the powers of these individuals won't cure us, won't protect us.
This is true, Diana.
Why releasing something like that unchecked and unable to be controlled is negligible at best.
So you're saying we perhaps keep 3 of them here? Send 2 away?
Honestly, if I may be so bold,
You may. He says, why are you here?
you keep them as your assurances. You don't send them out. You don't let others know that you have them.
That may already be too late. We do not know.
Do not know. That does not mean that you can't make it appear as if you have sent them out.
This is true.
Which would be the one to perhaps the Bruja. It's not a lie when you're telling the truth, side.
It is very true. Both are very good suggestions. Susuro, you are a little quiet on this one.
I am listening, my prince.
You do that quite well.
He spits something black on the floor. It might be part of his mouth.
Diana makes sure she doesn't go anywhere near that.
You have
Let's go.
identified something, my prince.
Well, at least it was one thing I got right tonight.
Before we move anything, who knows they are here? Who brought them? And what are they giving us to deal with their problem?
It might be prudent to check in with Alessandro. His clan has unusual ways
They
of
will
contacting
demand
each other.
that we hand them over immediately. That is what they will do.
You're mostly right. Although perhaps he will see the reason of the 3 of you.
There is an opportunity here, of course, that has not been mentioned yet.
Do tell.
We don't know for a fact that these people's kin reside in Constantinople, for sure. We do know 2 things. One, that we are sending an ambassador to Constantinople, and he will have luggage and baggage and an entourage and various trappings, yes. And we have 5 here, and if they are there, then we know that Salubri will be found in Constantinople. So, the question is, do you want to frame them or not? But I come back to what I said before. Who wants us to do this? And what are they doing for us to make us do it?
To be honest, obviously the Holy Roman Empire is going to want to push us, to push these beings, these poor souls, somewhere.
Yes,
That
into
is-
the maw
that-
of the Tremere.
That is
If we were
true.
to give them evidence that indeed there are these individuals there, then it would be beneficial to their position.
This is
Like
true.
planting evidence.
You could call it that. I would call it greasing the wheels of history.
And we're providing sanctuary to these poor souls wherever we lend them to.
But the question is, do we want to destroy Constantinople, who have been very friendly to us up until now?
It's true. They provide the most profitable option.
And so we must know, because they're not going to abandon that site. It's too important. Whoever takes it, if they take it, is going to need friends like us. So we are in a very good position.
And we do know that the Toreador, Diana, is allying themselves with the Tremere. So obviously the courts of love are not going to particularly feel happy with whoever gains the populace of these 5 vampires.
No, this is true. However, do we know who these came from?
That may be a question for the driver, who is the one that is not dead. A ghoul. Most likely if it is. He may have some knowledge. I had him held in a room for the most part for now, until we could discern what exactly was happening.
I think knowing where they come from is going to be tantamount to the decision that we make.
I happen to know that the coach that approached the Prince's Manor tonight came from Marseille. Of course.
Ah, France.
Of course,
That is not good.
whoever sent them may not have originated there.
Could be a trap.
It's a busy port.
Could be the Courts of Love. We just don't know.
If it is the Courts of Love, they haven't told me. Doesn't mean that that isn't the case.
It'd be strange that they would let you out flapping in the wind like some sort of flag.
I would hope that's not the case.
Remember, of course, that the official party is not everyone. This could be an under-the-table move by someone in that area. It does not mean it comes from the court.
Indeed.
I do believe this driver should be spoken to, though.
Yes, I do believe figuring out where it comes from is going to be the important piece to deciding what it is we do moving forward.
Bear in mind that whoever sent these packages to us may have had exactly this conversation before doing so.
This is true.
Likely, indeed.
One thing is for sure. Obviously, the Courts of Love are going to be on the side of the usurpers. The usurpers are obviously in cahoots with both the Courts of Love and the Holy Roman Empire.
Yes.
We have a bit of a allyship now going on. And of course, you know, the Iberians will, being good, faithful people, follow along suit if they have enough time after not getting killed by horrific heretics.
If I understand it even correctly, the Iberians were more pro-Salubri than they were Tremere until our friend Stusino had talked to them.
Oh, well, I chatted with them, and they seem to be, you know, we're working on a bit of a complicated relationship.
That's, yeah, yes, of course. Well, at least they will not be knocking on our door anytime soon for these wanderers. Let us go speak with...
The Tremere are working with the Holy Roman Emperor, yes?
Yes.
And so they will, of everyone, be the ones definitely interested in acquiring these packages.
But at the same time, our great ally potential with Byzantium could be at risk. If they find out that this even happened, they are quite far away. They might not know. Do you damn your friend in the north, or do you damn your friend who's in the east with the bigger opportunity? Is the question.
Perhaps when have you heard more about the consignment of troops heading east for this crusade?
Only that it is being planned.
When it is finished being planned, we could ship these individuals with them.
Get them out of our hair. They are not our problem anymore.
And it would, of course, give our Ventru friends a pretext to say they discovered them when they arrived.
At the same time, it would preserve all the good work you have done the night before, putting us in a place where we are not the target of anybody. Suddenly, these people show up, and now it is a problem.
Well, it looks like someone maybe is putting a target on our back.
This could be true too.
After all, it would be very interesting that why would the courts of love all of a sudden send these things to us? Obviously, it may be through our boons or somebody pulled some strings, but the fact of the matter is that this came from France.
At least in the direction of France. There's a knock on the door.
The Scots are at it again. Celebrate! Yeah.
As Alessandro walks in with a young Tremere girl who was seen in the presence of St. Regis at the ceremony not too long ago.
I see the scorpions are consorting among themselves.
Oh, come now, friend. You are just as dangerous as any of us.
Tell me, when were you going to inform me that the Subari had arrived at your doorstep?
Oh, so you already know, friend.
Yes, without help of or information from any of the people in this room right now.
Oh, you count me among the people in this room that have betrayed you. That is very bold, Alessandro.
And haven't I not given you information quite last night that is contrary to this
Why was
belief?
I not informed?
Because you are not an impartial person on this decision, and we want to talk before bringing you in. We already know your vote.
The prince doesn't have to welcome you to any discussions if he doesn't want to. That is his prerogative.
Quite right.
Well then,
Think of it this way, friend. We were thinking of your constitution, your well-being in this matter. We know that you would do the right thing to destroy this heresy. We know that. We know how powerful you are. But we don't want you to do anything brash. Perhaps let the beast ride you forward. We'd rather have you come into the arms of friends in this matter. And I will totally try to calm you the fuck down if you need me to roll.
Alessandro will look towards Susanna and nod at her and go, "Please, leave us."
And she walks out of the room.
Our allies or potential allies in France already know.
Oh, they do. Fancy that. You know, this package came from France. Huh. Huh. Just a passing observation. Anything from that, Diana?
Again, there are many other places between here and France, or even past.
I suspect that Diana's relationship with St. Regis would not have obfuscated this from her. It is likely either the Grand Courts that are allied to Toreador and Ventru, but I do not think they are so concerned about these enemies of the usurper. If it was anyone, it may be our cousins in Iberia.
It is very possible and very easy to cast doubt as to where this actually came from. We do need to speak to the driver.
Do know one thing for sure. It did not come from here. And so, Alessandro, if I were to hand you a bloody knife right now, would you have stabbed the man?
No.
Or would you just be holding a bloody knife? So please direct your anger to where it is best directed, and join us in figuring out what part of the greater game this is. This is now an opportunity to deploy for us. If you want to kill all of them here and now, frankly, I don't care. If the prince is willing to hand them over to you to make you happy, I don't care. They are 5 people I have never met in fucking boxes. What I do care about is getting the best we can from what we have.
You are right about one thing. This is an opportunity.
He's right about everything so far.
So let us give the Tremere what they want, which I'm sure will make you happy, Alessandro, and at the same time get something that you want, Prince. From which I will bleed all of you.
My prince.
Alessandro?
I have an idea. If you were to allow me to study the Sabari, I am assuming they are in torpor,
Yes.
I would be akin to allow you to do with them what they please.
Now, it's interesting you say that because Diana so cleverly pointed out that should that plan to spread the pestilence to the north to destabilize the Vintrum, depending on how that ends up happening, it would be wise to keep them around or have some knowledge to actually defend our country against such a spread if it was not contained. Is this something that, with studying them, you think you could decipher yourself?
I believe I could. I believe it's a possibility I could make an affliction that maybe only affects certain bloodlines. Even if I cannot attain that, I can turn what could be a gift into a bomb.
Into a Trojan horse? That is a dangerous proposition to have a weapon that only attacks certain bloodlines, friend. There are many high and low clan sympathies and divisions amongst our kind. This could be used in a terrible way.
What was that word you used before, Alessandro? About things changing.
Evolution.
Can your, whatever you call it, your plague, he can do that, right?
But so can
Yes.
we.
Yes, but you're saying that this might be the death of us all if you open that gate, perhaps.
My problem with this is that we are a trading nation. We benefit from people moving from here to there and spending money over there and taking the money they spent here and moving it here and doing all these things, and we benefit from people moving around. And we will not be immune from something which relies on people moving it around.
Perhaps this pestilence idea, as you are alluding to, is not worth the risk to our infrastructure.
The pestilence is coming, whether we want it to or not. Whether I open the doors now, or the doors open by themselves in the years to come.
Then maybe it is just like Cesario has stated. Because we are a trading nation, we send this plague, this pestilence, to where we need it to go first. We know ahead of time and make sure that these things go the way we want them to go.
What is it that your people hate about these three-eyed creatures anyway? That they are diabolico, they spread disease and evil, right?
Is it even confirmed that that is the truth?
Well, it doesn't matter, like we said earlier. If they and this plague are on the same ship, how does that look to you?
looks to me like typical three-eyed axe.
Well,
I still think that opening that door is inviting a lot of other issues to your doorstep, sir.
Antonio just sort of points a finger at her in sort of implied agreement.
These are the scales of fate. That's why you're the prince.
We could get ahead of it, my prince. I could research a cure. A vaccine.
what?
It is Latin
I
for
believe it is a
bullshit.
small pastry that they make.
Oh yeah, the ones in France. Yes.
No. A panacea. A cure-all.
Ah.
Snake oil.
So you want to release something and then create the cure for it.
We are imagination.
We are the ones who have the cure.
I
I
think
Oh, go on. Sorry.
I think if you are going to do this, sir, you are going to turn into a warring nation. Whether you want it or not.
Diana, all nations are warring nations.
Quite.
The difference is that warring with words versus a lack of people to fight those wars.
But if we are not fighting a war, just selling a solution.
It should.
Then you are opening yourself to be invaded by every other country that wants that.
It should be noted that the Court of Love, they are in agreement with my plan. At least St. Regis was. Perhaps they are blinded by their own anger against the Roman Empire. But it seemed they are also not one to be too disdain to the idea.
That the death of millions should be prescribed by a saint.
The man is no saint. I do not believe this to be nothing but heresy.
Not, no.
He may not be a saint, but Michael is not an angel either.
Hmm.
And I do not have to be in agreement with Regis on everything.
True.
Sure.
I leave it to a council vote on what we do with these guests.
Can we speak to the driver first?
Yes, please.
You may.
Diana, shall we go chat with this young fellow?
Let's go.
Ah, I always do love our walks.
And as you make your way down the hallway, the two ghoul guards waiting outside the door to the cell where the driver was placed are dead.
Oh, fuck.
And the door is ajar. Are you entering?
I open it. I draw my sword
And
out of her
there,
skirts.
in the room, is Susanna. With her fangs deep into the neck of the lifeless body of the driver.
Oh, Susanna, you have made a grave, grave error.
I immediately go to intercept her.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab her with arms if I have to.
Roll your rouse check for arms of Ironman.
Sure.
Diana, you're very fast.
Yep.
I'm gonna see who goes first here. So you're stating, what's your intention towards Diana?
My intention is to basically come up behind her and my sword right at her throat.
Okay.
Like to basically stop her.
Okay. And Father.
I lose a blood.
Okay.
And that's fine. Such is the way. I'm just trying to grab her and just apprehend her and bring her to the prince. The prince is down the hallway, for fuck's sake. Like.
Yeah.
So.
Hold on, I'm trying to see what she has. Okay, so she has traversal.
Okay.
All right.
So she is going to use that. So she needs a rouse check. I'm sorry for rouse checks. What is the?
It's a 1 hunger die, and if you have a 6 or above, you do not get hungrier. If you do not have 6 or above, you get hungrier, and the power still works as intended.
All right, she gets hungrier.
Okay, so now Diana is at a 2, at least 2. I keep track.
Okay, so I have 5 successes
On arms.
and it's not a bestial. It's not a bestial.
Is it a messy crit?
No, it's not a Masquerade. No.
Okay.
It is it's not a 10. So I
Okay.
did have a 10, but I was like, wait, no, it's okay. So but it is 5 successes to use arms on her and to just grab her.
All right, so you summon the arms. Diana is able to run past her, and you run up the wall sideways, sticking to it, dropping down, grabbing her. At the same time, these shadowy tentacles emanate from the room, grabbing her by the legs, wrapping around her body. The two of you now have her completely within your grasp.
Okay.
Are you moving as one down the hallway?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're cool, if you're not going to fight with me, then we're dragging
No, I
her
am not
over
going
the
to fight
fence.
with you. I will work with you the entire way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Drag her ass right down that hallway. Just
Back into
slide.
the anteroom where the prince is. Where is the driver, and why is she still here?
While we're walking down the hallway, prepare to I'm going to tell Father Basile, prepare to restrain Alessandro.
Oh, I will continue to restrain Alessandro.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can hold her, I can hold him.
I can hold her.
Okay. So when I walk into the room, I'm going to yell aloud. I'm going to go, Alessandro, I am sorry, my friend. And I'm going to try to roll against you to grab you.
Give me a wits and oblivion.
Let's roll that again.
Oh, yeah, seeing oblivion in action.
Shit.
Or
It's
not.
a messy critical. I got 6 successes. Oh.
What's your strength?
My strength is 3.
The beast takes over.
Sorry.
You are pretty hungry. Those tendrils whip across the room and practically make a subsonic crack as they hit the face of Alessandro, drawing blood as the one hits him immediately and then double backs and wraps around his neck, lifting him in the air. If he was mortal, he likely would have just suffered the effects of a hanging.
Cool.
And,
And I'm gonna like raise him up in the air and be like, yes!
and as that happens, your fangs dig into the neck
Oh no!
of Susanna.
Oh
And the
no!
beast wants what it wants.
Oh, I'm going to move
Drinks.
her. I'm going to move her away from
And
him.
drinks. You need a dex and brawl to
Yeah,
pull
I could do that.
this Canaanite priest off of this Tremere young woman.
Do I gain a blood?
You do.
Ooh,
Yay!
I have a specialty for brawl against kindred.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
So Father Vasile, he is among Susanna and
Oh, I got Yeah. I got you up in the air, and I'm drinking from her. I'm sorry.
I had
This is-
6 successes.
Antonio in the corner with his hot dog.
You
I have
grab Father Bastille and throw him off, the fangs ripping out of her neck. As she rolls to try and heal herself as quickly as possible, she does not get hungrier. Father Bastille falls back, tendrils still holding Alessandro in the air.
I don't want him to stop doing that. I just want him off of her.
It's cool.
And
then I will, as soon
free.
as I have him off, I will immediately go back to where I was holding her between Father Bastille and her.
It's cool.
Can I attempt to break out?
Yes.
All right. What would I roll for that?
Strength and athletics. We have a 5-minute warning where you have to leave. The Zoom is going to be needed for the next game.
Oh, yeah. Do we want to talk this out?
Sure.
3 successes.
Okay.
3 successes is
I
enough to break free of the obtenebration strength. You fall. You hit the floor.
Doesn't hit the floor because he's caught by me. Haha.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm okay with talking it out. I agree to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be cool. I'm cool with just like beating. Like my goal is just going to be beating back Alessandro. Like just be like, you can't. Don't attack us, bro. Sorry about your face. That's the only thing.
And I'm going to explain what I came into, and if the prince were to order it, she'd execute the Tremere immediately.
You think we have been betrayed, Diana?
I do.
By whom?
If Alessandro has nothing to do with this, this individual, maybe perhaps question her as to her loyalties.
Can I whisper something into Alessandro's ear as I'm holding him?
Yes.
Are you behind this?
Nay.
All right.
Are you?
Prince Enrico dominates the young Tremere. Who was it that sent you here to set us up and fuck us over? And she says, Marcel of Iberia.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
And with that, the fate of this city-state is once again still kind of up in the air. You've done what you can.
It's a shame that all those Holy Roman troops are now going to be fighting on the Moorish side.
Yeah, if the prince allows it, Diana will just execute her after she says it.
Do it! Kill this
They've
bitch!
done more for Christian-Muslim relations than anyone ever could have. That's it.
Diana, do your countrymen a favor and take this piece of garbage out.
Yep, she will do so.
Diablerie.
Mercilessly.
Eater. Because
He
if
does
you're
not
not
care about her dress or any of the gore that's going to be on it. Nothing. Just
And-
mercilessly just executes her.
This is how
Nice.
the Banu Hakim ended up in the
Yeah,
camera.
struggling.
And she is Gonzo. And the domain is slightly safer for it. But the fate of 5 Salubri hang in question as the night comes to an end and the city-state is in danger, but a little wiser, and with a group of those who have the ear of the prince more solidified in who they are, what their relations are, and the larger world around them. And thank you for joining us for our Dark Ages V5 game for Onyx Path Virtual Gaming Con. I am Rick. You can find me at Deathmalkavian, and you can hire Diana, Crystal Mazur. You can hire Mike Tomasek, who are
Yes, you
freelance
can.
writers.
Yes,
You can get in touch with John Burke, who's
John
also a
Burke's
writer.
a bigger mercenary than his character.
Indeed.
Awesome writer.
And yeah, you can just bother me and Nick because we're just Gehenna Gaming guys.
I'm also, if you need a graphic designer and all that
Indeed.
jazz, and do great InDesign work too, hit me up at Nobleman Nick on Twitter. That's my
Indeed.
Twitter thing.
Please
That's
go
not fake.
to
That's not
onyxpathcon.com and donate to the
Yes.
charities that we are raising money for, which is the Thurgood Marshall College
College
Fund,
Fund.
and the Bodhana Group, both of which are amazing foundations.
Yep.
Please
Indeed.
support them, and please watch the rest of the streams for the rest of the day, and
Yeah.
have fun with awesome people.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah,
playing, you
thank
guys.
you.
You were wonderful.
So thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you
awesome.
for running the game. It was wonderful.
In my head
Play more
canon, this is
games.
how the what's it called? The bubonic plague starts.
Yeah, that's legit as fuck. All right, cool.
All right, bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Doctor.
See ya, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.